Mm-hmm. What year was that?
And
What year was that?
1909.
What were your mother and father called?
And
What were your mother and father called?
my mother's name was Thurza Elizabeth. My father's was Edward.
And that was Mollet.
Oh, I didn't know my father.
That was Mollet.
I never
wasn't
did
it?
that.
Were you Mollet? No, that was Nanny's. What was your maiden name?
Poles.
Poles, of course it was, yeah.
So what happened to your dad?
Died. I went 3-year-old.
Oh dear. So how did he die?
I never did know. Never did know. And my mother had 3 boys and 2 girls. And I'm the only one living. And I was the youngest.
Well, Alec was your brother, weren't he? Alec.
Huh?
Alec was your brother, weren't he?
No.
Oh, who was your brother then? Oh, it was Alec was Connie's.
Connie's son.
And was
My brother's son.
so who was Connie's husband?
John.
John.
My brother John.
John, and he was married to Connie,
Connie.
Aunt Connie.
Well, you knew them.
I know. I'm just but going back a long while now.
You knew them, I did. Yeah.
And who were the
My
other?
brother, I had 2 brothers drown at sea.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh goodness. What, fishermen?
120 and 122.
Goodness.
What were they called?
One was Harry. And what was it? Edward, the oldest one.
And your sister?
Thurza. Thurza Elizabeth.
So the same as your mother?
Mhm.
When did she die?
Well, she wanted a baby. She craved for a baby. She had 3 miscarriages. Then the last one, she went 7 months. And then the baby was born dead.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
What about Uncle Sam? Was it Sam who made the records?
My mother's brother.
He was Lana though, weren't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
My Uncle Ted. My Uncle George.
Who was the clergyman?
Uncle Ted.
And he was he was in London, weren't he?
Yes. Yeah.
So you would have been
That's who you remind me of, Uncle Ted.
because
Because he could sing, play an organ, lovely.
he was the clergyman in London, so he'd have been Ted Lana, wouldn't
Lana.
he? Yes, yeah,
Ted Lamb.
yeah. how did you meet Grandad?
Pardon?
How did you meet Grandad?
How did I what?
How did you meet Grandad? Grandad John. How did you get to know him?
Well, you know, Hemsby and Winton, they used to come down to Winton. The boys did. Hemsby boys used
What?
to come all down Winton.
Chatting up all the girls.
You know, chatting up all the girls. Yeah.
What did you think when you saw him?
Well, he was a tall, smart chap.
Because he was over 6 foot tall,
Well,
wasn't
he
he?
was over 6
Yeah.
And you thought, ooh, he's a bit all right.
And I had mastoid. I then got to know him a little. And I had mastoid. And I had an operation at Norwich Hospital.
Mm.
And him and Lenny Bessie, they boat to Norwich to see me.
Gracious. Must have taken them hours.
Boat on the boats.
And where did you get married?
January the 3rd. No, January the 2nd.
That's the same day as my mum was.
Mm-hmm.
That was the day she got
In
married.
Hemsby Church?
No, register office.
Oh, right. Oh.
Yeah, we had the money.
Did you live in Hemsby then?
No. Lived with my mother
In Winterton?
in Winton.
What year was that? Can you remember?
Norman is now. He'd soon be 65. And I think we'd been married 3 years before he was born.
So what year is that then?
What year is
32?
that?
1932?
Yes, 1932.
And when did Grandad go down with... He went down with rheumatic fever, didn't he?
We've been married 3 months. When he was taken with rheumatic fever. He was in bed 6 months. I'm married first, married late. So you can tell him what a married life I had.
And when did he go to Newmarket Hospital? Was that in the war?
Yes, during the war. That's when we were bombed up, went down to... No, we lived here then, didn't we? Of course we did. I'm getting muddled up.
So you lived at Taylor's Low?
Taylor's Low.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he weighed just over 9 stone.
And what did he go into Newmarket Hospital for?
Well, they wouldn't have him up in Yarmouth. They got the bombs, you see. And the doctor took him all the way to Newmarket.
Was that to have an operation then?
No,
Just because of the...
just... Mind went to bed.
And then you used to go to Newmarket and see him with Norman, didn't you?
When he was a little boy.
Mm.
We were talking about that the other week. I said, do you remember when we were on... Where did we go?
North Walsham.
North Walsham. We were then coming home. That was what? Late. That was dark and that was one winter's night. Poor little boy, never ought to. And the siren went. There weren't nobody about. There weren't a porter about. There weren't nobody. Because we were waiting for the train to bring us to Hemsby, you see. Oh, and I was frightened, and so was he. Poor little boy, he cried.
And when
And I'd left him in a serious position.
did Grandad come out of hospital at the end of the war then, or before the end of the war?
Oh, you got me.
Was Taylor's Low bombed then?
We had all ceilings down upstairs. I lived with Carney.
Oh,
We went
right,
up
yeah.
Newport and lived. Yeah.
Did Grandad ever have his hip replaced?
They weren't doing them then.
Oh, right.
Never heard of such a thing.
And as the arthritis
Yeah.
just got worse, he's
Well, he didn't know. He was
just
a
seized
cripple.
up, didn't he?
Well, the first year of our marriage life, I told you he was in bed 6 months. Never did get up straight anymore. It was like this.
And was he a blacksmith then? So was he a blacksmith when you met him?
Yes. Well, he wanted to go in the police force. Because Aunt Carrie, you know, she worked in the pub and
Oh,
the
yeah,
policeman
yeah.
used to go there. And she'd have got him in the police force easy. But I said, if you go in the police force, I ain't going with you anymore. Oh, and I have regretted that. I regret that ever so much. Because he was only a young boy, look. And these old horses, the old farm horses, you know, the old feet and that used to smell terrible.